Are you two dating? How long has this been going on?
It just started.
It just started. What I saw didn't look like it just started. It looked like it's been going on for a while.
Mom, we only hugged.
And the kiss?
On the forehead.
Femi! Say something!
You want me to say our kids are in love?
Did you know about this? And you guys kept me in the dark?
I wanted to tell you, but I know how you get when guys come around me.
You are my daughter. It's my duty to protect you.
I love Zio, and I will never do anything to hurt her.
10 Reasons Why started with Chidi Dike, who played the character Nelson, vibing to music while driving. He suddenly sighted an old woman who seemed to be having a heart attack right beside the road, totally ignored by passers-by. He quickly swung into action and asked if she was okay before carefully helping her into his car in order to take her to her destination. Femi got home worried because he had been trying to reach his son Nelson, but to no avail. Femi decided to make something to eat, but while at it, he got a call from Ada, his very good friend. He was visibly happy to be hearing from her, and he showered her with lovely words. Ada informed Femi she would be relocating to Lagos because she got promoted at work. He congratulated her and told her he would be expecting her. When Nelson was done dropping off the elderly woman, he got back into his car to discover he had missed several of his dad's calls. He called back immediately and explained he wasn't with a girl, but rather helping an elderly woman. So Zio came into her mom's room wearing a gloomy face. She demanded she wanted to talk, but her mom asked to talk later because she was busy at the moment. Zio persisted, and her mom, Ada, had to pay attention to her. Ada already knew her daughter wanted to talk about their relocations to Lagos, and that was exactly what it was. Zio bitterly complained on how she wanted to study in the States and not in Lagos. Her mom reminded her that everything does not revolve around her, and all she needed to do was embrace the change that was about to happen. Zio simply stomped off angrily. Nelson got home and properly explained everything that had happened to his dad and apologized for not picking up his calls. His dad told him he was a bit worried, but was so proud of him for being kind to the elderly woman. This was proof he raised a good child. Afterwards, they both had a son and father moment about who was supposed to stay in the kitchen to cook. Nelson came downstairs ready to leave for lectures, but not without his phone. He kept searching for his phone until his dad handed him his phone with a furtive smile across his face. Nelson asked if he had been snooping through his phone as usual, and his father stated he was doing what every father would do: go through their child's phone to know what they have been up to. Nelson assured his dad that he was a good boy with nothing to hide before he left for school. Ada can be seen packing her bags while complaining to her friend Femi about the issue they were encountering with the apartments they intended to stay in when they get to Lagos. Ada asked him to secure a hotel for them up until the apartment is fixed, but Femi thought it was a waste of money getting a hotel when he has a large apartment that he only shares with his son. Ada was grateful for his kind offer and she thanked him. Femi walked in on his son doing his school assessments. Nelson promptly informed his dad that he would be staying over at a friend's place for a while. Femi agreed and looked like he wanted to tell his son something, but he held back his words. Femi looked all dressed up and cheerful. He picked up Ada's call and informed her he was on his way to the airport to pick them up. Femi picked Ada and her daughter Zio from the airport and they were happy to see each other. They chatted while Zio silently sat with her hands folded, looking very unhappy. They all got to Femi's house and he got Zio settled in his son's room and also made sure Ada was very comfortable also. Ada thanked him once more for allowing them to stay at his house and he assured her it was his pleasure. They talked a little on how it was difficult raising young adults before heading down to eat. While they were eating, Femi started up a conversation with Zio about her attending Unilag just like he attended with her mom Ada and just like his son Nelson was attending presently. But Zio managed to give a fake smile before excusing herself from the table. Ada looked worried, but Femi assured her Zio would adjust in no time. Zio can be seen lamenting on how she hated Lagos already even though she just arrived. While she was lamenting aloud, Nelson opened the door to his room and said hi to her, but she in turn hissed and slammed the door right on his face. Femi was surprised Nelson was back much earlier than expected because he wasn't supposed to return until 2 weeks later. Femi dragged Nelson into the room and told him Ada and their daughter would be staying with them for a while. Nelson asked why he wasn't included in the plan, but his dad told him he thought he wouldn't be around, so there was no need informing him about their visitors. During dinner, Ada made jokes about how she met Femi and everyone was obviously having fun except for Zio, who was totally not interested in whatever fun they were having, including the movie nights they all planned to have. While Nelson was doing the dishes, Zio just stood and watched. The only help she rendered was to stack up the plates before leaving without uttering a word. During the movie night, while Femi and Ada were enjoying the movie, Nelson and Zio simply kept stealing exchanging glances at each other. Up next, Femi and Zio had to go work out alone because Ada was busy with work and Nelson had schoolwork to do. When Nelson discovered Zio would be working out with his dad, he suddenly decided to join them, but all efforts to get Zio's attention failed. Nelson was concerned because he hadn't seen Zio the whole day. He asked her mom, Ada, if everything was fine, and Ada informed him that it was that time of the month and that was the reason Zio had been scarce. When Nelson inquired about what he could do to make her feel better, Ada advised him to take food to her. Nelson came into Zio's room with a tray of food. It got awkward when he offered to give Zio a belly rub, and it got even embarrassing when he kept trying to explain that his intention was to help her relieve some of her pain. Zio just stared at him, so Nelson knew it was time to leave her be. For some reason, Zio was amused by Nelson's kind gesture and she broke a smile. Nelson straightforwardly told his dad he liked Zio, but Femi told him he cannot like Zio because he was in love with Ada, Zio's mom. They got into an argument about who should step down for another. They both gave their numerous reasons, and within a short time, it became a contest of the survival of the fittest. Nelson suggested they both try to win over the woman they love, and whoever fails to win over their woman's heart within 2 weeks will have to step down for the one that won first. Femi accepted the challenge from his son Nelson, and it was game on. Femi got working immediately, and Nelson, who wouldn't want his dad to win, also started shooting his shot. He knocked on Zio's door, and when she came out, he was almost short of words. He clumsily asked how she was doing and told her he was available if she ever needed anything. The way the game was going, Nelson knew he had to step up his game or else his dad would win. After Zio turned down Nelson's help, he still went to offer it anyway. He stood and acted like her bodyguard, and finally some of his efforts paid off because when Zio got into her room, she made that face that showed she was falling for Nelson. Femi tried discouraging Nelson from continuing the challenge and for him to accept defeat because he has a better chance of winning Ada's heart since they were both adults. None of these words discouraged Nelson. Zio spoke to a friend about how she was adjusting well already, and she also talked about how Nelson had been so nice to her. She denied crushing on him, but her smile betrayed her. Femi was going to send Nelson on an errand, so Ada suggested Zio accompany him since she had not been able to explore the city yet. Ada was barely done when Femi said a loud no to everyone's surprise. He explained that he didn't want Zio getting stressed with traffic and everything. He knew he lost that one when Zio confirmed she wanted to go out with Nelson. Zio and Nelson bonded so well. They talked and had so much fun together. Ada and Femi got worried when it started getting late and they had not yet returned. They soon came back and Nelson took the blame for not coming back early when it was Zio's fault because she insisted they spend more time out. Zio got upset because her mom was too busy to keep her promise of taking her to the beach. Ada had to ask Nelson to take her instead, and Nelson was more than happy to do so. It was a perfect opportunity to bond more with Zio. At this point, Femi knew he was losing out and Ada wasn't making matters any easier for him because she was always siding with Nelson even though she was oblivious to what was going on. Nelson and Zio had the time of their lives together at the beach. They talked, took pictures, and played games and did everything fun, including Nelson getting a peck from Zio. That was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Zio opened up about how the death of her father affected her so much, and Nelson also opened up about how his parents' separation also took a toll on him. While they were sharing their challenges with each other, Nelson took that opportunity to ask Zio out, and she promised to give it a thought. Femi also had a heart-to-heart talk with Ada. During the course of their discussion, Ada clearly stated she wasn't ready to remarry or get into a relationship, and all she wanted to do was take care of her daughter, Zio. Nelson took a bold step and told Ada that she had to make out time for Zio because that was all that mattered to Zio. Ada took the advice and apologized to Zio for not making out enough time for her due to work. Zio also announced she had decided to study in Lagos so they can have enough time together. They hugged warmly since their differences have been ironed out. While Femi and his son Nelson were discussing how their game of love was going, Zio overheard it all and had an outburst of anger. Nelson tried to explain, but he wasn't given a chance. Zio was heartbroken and totally started isolating herself from everyone. Nelson had to act fast. With the help of an online cooking tutorial, he made a delicious meal and took it to Zio as gates passed to get an audience with her. Zio reluctantly agreed to listen to him. Nelson narrated every bit of the story, leaving no detail out. Zio forgave him and even accepted to be his girlfriend. While they were in a romantic posture, Ada walked in on them. She was mad and demanded to know if they were dating, and they accepted they were. Ada was furious and even got more upset when she found out Femi was very much aware of all that had been happening. After much persuasion and conviction from both Nelson and Zio, Ada gave them her blessings but promised her eye will always be watching them closely. Moral lesson: love has no formula or pattern. Always give love a chance. I know you enjoyed this movie recap. Do well to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you can be the first to receive a notification the next time we post. Thanks for watching.